There have been some encouraging results from the late-stage trials of vaccines that have bolstered hopes in the fight against COVID-19. But there is a sense of frustration in the medical world over the lack of uniformity in clinical trials, and this has been voiced by many prominent persons. Top vaccine makers like Pfizer and Moderna have claimed efficacy, like we showed you, of over 90%. AstraZeneca, which is developing the vaccine with Oxford University, has made it worse by releasing multiple data points for the efficacy of its vaccine. New vaccines are rarely certified for efficacy above 90%. In fact, most vaccines get certified in the 40 to 60% efficacy band. But vaccine makers are currently flashing high percentage figures because they have carried out tests on extremely small numbers of people. I want to tell you a little bit about the licensing norms as well. This is something that's going to be very important going forward, because in the case of emergency authorization, in the case of emergency license for the limited use of vaccine, and this is a scenario that could easily present itself, the license for monitored use of vaccine is authorized by the Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. The license for manufacturing vaccine allows the manufacturers to examine and analyze the vaccine. Okay, now coming back to the efficacy issue, because that is pretty much what we are looking at as the as we track developments in the days going forward. Dr. Parikh, the Prime Minister tomorrow will be visiting the labs, meeting with the frontline, personnel, literally involved in the, actual development activities. What is the I know this is a hard question in terms of putting each other in different people's shoes, but what will the knowing everything that we know so far, what will the Prime Minister be looking for when he's on the ground in these cities?
Shiv, maybe I can comment on what the Prime Minister's scientists and the medical advisors with him would be looking for. They would be looking for what's been happening in the Indian trials. Different vaccines in different populations can react differently. Are we seeing different kind of side effects? I imagine they're going to be pretty interested to look at the autoimmune neurological side effects. There was a case of transverse myelitis that occurred with the AstraZeneca vaccine. So I think side effects, even mild side effects, with a vaccine that's going to be administered so widely, could potentially put off a whole generation of vaccinations. And then, of course, they're going to be looking at rollout plans, how much can they produce, where they are at their various targets. Shiv, if I may, because it's been brought up so many times, the differing efficacy results in the AstraZeneca vaccine is actually quite interesting. So, of course, like the other guests have pointed out, it wasn't designed to study, the reduced dose. It was an accident. So we can't really trust that result. But one of the interesting things that may have happened is we see something called vector immunity. So what the AstraZeneca vaccine is, it takes an adenovirus and then it takes a part of the coronavirus in the adenovirus and it injects the adenovirus. So what can happen is when you have a higher dose of the adenovirus, the body may develop an immune response against the adenovirus, and that may make the second dose of the vaccine less effective. So by giving a smaller dose of the adenovirus in the first vaccine, you might be preventing some of that, what we call vector immunity. And the Russian vaccine gets around this by using two different virus vectors in the first and the second vaccine. But it's also interesting, another thing might have happened. Because you give a higher dose that have the 62% effective, people may have realized that, okay, I got some side effects. I got a slight fever, I got a slight headache, so I definitely got the vaccine. I didn't get the placebo. And because they think they've been vaccinated, they might take more risks. So they might not mask as well. That's, this unblinding that occurs could have also impacted the results. So there are many interesting reasons why this might have happened, and that's why they're repeating the studies. Interesting overall why we have these differing efficacy figures.